Chats with Trae. Chats with Trae.
Welcome everybody to Chats with Trae. I'm so excited to be bringing our show back to our audience. I know so many people have reached out to me about when we're coming on. We are coming back, you guys, and I'm so thrilled that I have Stephanie Morales of AXSM Art right here on my couch or chair. You know, like this is what it's all about. She done come here to chat with Trae. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining us today.
Thank you.
You know, me and you have been in the talks about this for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Because I have literally experienced you being out in community doing your thing, you know, and bringing about events, always being there to plug art and plug your art. So we really want to hear from you a little bit of history, and then we'll get into some of these beautiful pieces you brought to show today.
Awesome.
Yeah. So what really started you with AXSM Art?
I mean, I've been drawing and painting since I was very little. My parents would get me just stacks and stacks of computer paper with the little holes all down the side. I'm going to give away my age doing that, but I used to just go through those and write Post-it notes and all that kind of stuff, and even paint and draw on my furniture and toys, which my parents did not love, but now I get paid to do it, so it's okay. So yeah. And then I would say, you know, I gave it up for a long time just out of, you know, my dad telling me to be practical and go into accounting and admin and that kind of stuff. So I did for a while. And then one day, I happened to be in an art store probably about 8 years ago. And I decided, hey, I haven't done anything artistically in a long time. Let me just pick something up for fun, you know, and I did it. And the golden age of social media, Instagram had just started and Twitter and all that. So I shared it on that, and people started going, I want to buy that. I'm like, oh, okay. So I made another one, and somebody's like, I want to buy that. And it just kind of grew from there. And I started seeing it as like, okay, people want to see this, and people want to pay me to see this, you know. And then it just kind of grew from there. And I started to try to find more purpose in my art, in what I was painting, and then also what I was doing with the paintings. And so that's kind of how AXSM Art was really born.
Well, you know, the funny thing is I think if you talk to any artist, you know, the unique story of what brought you to artistry is always something that is so deeply profound, right? Where it's like from a young age, I knew, you know, I was drawing, I was using the computer paper, and it's always something like that. And I think so many artists actually experience exactly what you just said, you know, that practical side of life, whether it's a child, you start a family, whatever else, it's definitely that at some point you're like, well, is creativity gonna pay my bills? So I'm so glad and thrilled to hear that. Now, you've been, like you said, now 8 years down the line. How has been growing AXSM Art? How has that been for you?
You know, it's been such a wonderful process, and I've met so many amazing people through it, you know, and that's kind of like, that also comes through like my passion of like wanting to like see other people start to experience the same kind of revelation that I had of like, I can really do what I love and still, and that can also still be practical for me too. So it's been really amazing. I absolutely could not have done it without my community and my people, and I feel like that just like strengthens my resolve as an artist and like deepened the messages that I want to put in my art. And it's been really wonderful. And it I mean, no entrepreneurship is easy. I'm wearing all the hats all the time. So, you know, yeah, it's been really great. And it's to the point now where it's like, there's so many opportunities where I even have to like, okay, start to narrow down to like a mission statement or a mission, you know, kind of focus a little bit more on like, I can't say yes to everything. So, but I mean, these are all lessons that I think any small business owner or artist learns along the way. So it's been exciting though.
Yeah, such a great ride. I mean, I just feel that, like I said, kind of in the intro, I've seen you everywhere, you know, I mean, festival, like last summer, like and now of course it's protest season, right? We have these marches, we have these protests. And you're out there. I mean, I saw you were painting in the chop. Let's hear about this season for you specifically as an artist. I know it's brought a lot of shifts for a lot of artists.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole thing has just been like really a marriage of something that art and activism have always been two things that like I really like have. I used to not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance when I used to get in trouble because I would just be like, this something don't seem right. I'm talking like 4th, 5th grade. So
Wow.
like, I've always had that like activist type of spirit in me, and then also the artistic side. And so, you know, through a series of a very long history of really horrible things that have happened, and it's kind of all spearheading right now. And so I've been able to really like bring the two things together to use my art in activism, like in the CHOP and in some of the work that I do. So it's actually, I don't want to call it an opportune time because I don't see it as an opportunity in a good way in that what brought it about, but for the two things that I'm so passionate about to come together at this time, it feels like this is my purpose. This is what I'm, you know, it's like that's bringing out my purpose for me.
Yeah. And so many folks, I mean, obviously the CHOP or Chaz, you know, right, it got so much national attention, and I know that so many folks, you know, were wondering how was it in the CHOP, and you know, these reports coming out from the major media, and a lot of people that were experiencing the CHOP were like, that's not what I'm experiencing. So I want to just hear from you, because I saw you down there literally when the Sound Transit brought the wood planks. You were out there painting, and so you were out there many days. So I just want to hear from you, your experience at that time, and what it was like to create art with other artists in such a unique zone.
Yeah, I felt like, so I mean, I was in some of, before it turned into the CHOP, I was in some of the actual protests, and then when it became Chaz and then CHOP, and just really watching it kind of evolve, and really like coming down there on a weekend versus early morning or late night on a weekday, you know, and seeing the different dynamics and stuff there. So I felt like I had to understand that this was a fluid space that was evolving. Sometimes it was disappointing, sometimes it was inspiring. So when I came down there to make art, it was like I had been there the day before, and I saw that they had put up those boards, and I said, I'm gonna take up space. I'm always about artists taking up space. I'm always about Black and brown people taking up space, women taking up space. Like, and so I just felt like, and doing that, I was also, even in my posts and stuff, I was saying, come down here and take up the space that is yours. And so, yeah, that's what that painting that was about. And also the image itself, you know, was really about reminding people this is not a block party. This is not about any other issue but Black lives. And so that's why I painted the piece that I did and tried to make it very like impactful. So
I think it was. Honestly, I got to see it every day when they had the pieces up there, obviously with our studio, one of our studios being there in the heart of it on 11th. So I was able to, you know, really be inspired by it. So I just really thank you for that.
We're right here at East Precinct. It doesn't get any closer than this right now.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents.
As a small independent media company, we rely on the financial support of individuals and business members to stay on the front lines of the news that's important to you.
We're the Yard Bros. I'm Taco.
I'm Tia.
And this is our love story.
So we've been together for 14 years and married for 12.
So we met at a choir rehearsal.
No.
No. Which way?
We met at church.
Oh, you talking about the very first?
The very first interaction.
When you were shady. Okay.
I was not shady.
And I was like,
Oh,
will
I
you?
remember that.
And then it cuts off. And then I was like, marry me. And then I feel the bars.
But it stopped being about each other. And so COVID helped us to return to, wow.
We matter.
We
You and I matter.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to our love story.
We're the Yard Bros.
And
vote
Black love.
I want to ask you some kind of general questions about artistry. And so I'm looking at some of your pieces here. I really want to know, because you just told the story. Did you ever go to school for this?
I didn't. I went to University of Washington, but I didn't go for that. I have a law, society, and justice degree with a focus on African Americans in the law. Which so this is like this. When I'm saying this is like the time when this is all coming together. I did take a few classes there, like figure sketching, but honestly, everything else, the painting and everything, is just totally like self-taught, experimenting with, you know, different stuff and just practicing.
Wow.
You know, so yeah.
So lots of canvases of practice.
Oh yes, I have stacks and stacks of them. My son just told me today, he's like, you need to clear out this corner. It's all canvases piled up. I'm like, I know, sorry.
So this is what I'm going to propose. I'm going to propose that one day we see the entire evolution of AXSM Art. Because I feel like that's really a story in and of itself. And for me, such a, you know, look, documentary and just narrative, that's really where I get so inspired by the stories that come out. Because each one of us, our lives has its own personal story.
Absolutely.
And that to me is where we experience the greatest connection, is when our stories begin to overlap, or we share and we realize, wow, you went through that and that's how you came out on the other side, and I went through something similar and this is what it looked like for me. That learning and that driver of, you know, connectivity is so important to me, you know.
Absolutely.
And well, I'm really excited. You know, I am very excited because you brought a lot of great pieces, and I'm just looking at this one. I mean, it just drew our attention. There's a couple other people here in the studio today, and we're all just like, so that's what made me ask, because I realized that your roses, you know, I've done a couple paint nights, you know, myself, a couple paint sits. I won't say I'm any expert by any means, but it is really one of my most favorite things to do. And even without any spirits or like wine or anything, just sitting there and just taking the notes, you know, one thing at a time. You use this stroke, you do that brush, you do this color. It really resonates with the way my brain works.
Yes.
So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, man, you know, because I know so much of it is interpretation. So they're like, don't worry if your line isn't just like this, or, you know, it doesn't have to be. It's all about how you do it, right? And I'm just looking at your roses and I'm like, I wouldn't know how to do that.
I mean, it's all layers. That's what because I teach the paint and sip classes too. So it's like, I always tell people, first thing we got to think of are painting in layers. And the more layers that you add, the more interesting it gets. And so this painting actually took me about 2 years. Wow. Not because it took me 2 years straight of painting,
right?
But like I would start it. This was one of my least favorite. I was like, I wasted this big canvas because I don't even like this picture. But I was like, I'm not going to paint over it. I'm just going to put it away, bring it back out, put it away, bring it back out. And I literally did that for 2 years. I would just put it away for a couple months, bring it back out, work on it, be like, I still hate it. And then it was just like one day I was just like, it's done. That's it. Like, and I actually love it now, you know. So that's why this one's called Phases. It literally has 2 years of phases in all the stuff that happens in a 2-year time in your life. And that's what, you know, the moon cycle is really like. Sometimes life is like this, sometimes life is like this, but we know that it's everything's temporary, and we just live in that moment for whatever it is, whether it's waxing, waning, whatever.
It's just stunning.
Thank you.
It really is. And sometimes I think you're so right in terms of the layers of color and how I think it brings depth to the paintings. I mean, I literally can see how you have the darker royal blue and just merging into those lighter blue. So for me, it's, you know, I get really intrigued by the colors too.
Yeah, I always go, when I go to an art museum or any gallery or anything, I get like this close. You know, I'm like right there, just inspecting every stroke and seeing like, wow, okay, this is what went into making this image, that when I step back, I'm like seeing something.
I love that. And also too, just before we get into some of your other pieces here, you're very community minded. I want to say this because I know that we were talking about uplifting other vendors, other artists, folks who are out here in the community. And so I just wanted to let the audience know a little bit more about you, because you're not just about promoting yourself.
Oh, no.
You actually really have this heart of like, wait, how does all of our people get on? So I know these protests, a lot of stuff, but what is it looking like now in order to, you know, we got Black August coming up. A lot of folks are looking to really support Black businesses and Black artists and vendors, you know, and I wanted to just hear from you. You're a Black artist and vendor yourself. And what is this time looking like for you in terms of the ways that people's minds are shifting?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now that's everybody is like starting to really reconsider how to be a conscious consumer, you know, and it's something that I've definitely been thinking about in the last several years. It's like, when I buy something from somebody, who am I really supporting? What am I really supporting, you know? And in this internet age, I mean, we could we got investigators out here. We'll find out where's your campaign donations going? What are you about, you know? And so because of all that, we're starting to really like realize, no, we need to support our own. And also in the last several years, you know, a lot of people have started new businesses. Actually, even in the last several months, I've watched in the middle of a pandemic, people start businesses and really start to have the time and space and support to grow them. And so it's really actually really exciting to see that for myself as an artist, but just to see even people that are like, I don't know if I can do this. Well, now you're home, you got no choice. So go ahead and do the thing that you've really been loving, and find out that people are really supporting you, and that you really can make a go of it, you know? So I feel like it's super exciting time, and everybody's all about supporting Black businesses right now. So it's, man, if you're Black and you got a business, get to it.
Yeah. The people are ready, and I
so ready.
Yeah,
they're hungry for it.
I agree with you, and you know, shout out to my cousin Jontia. She launched her catering business. She was already doing it. You know, she was doing orders for people. If they knew, you know, they wanted a certain thing, or can you make this for this party or whatever. And then she's done a couple parties that she just herself catered. You know, folks are asking, but now, you know, she's come to every event. And everybody knows now, Cater by Tia. Like, I'm standing in the Cater by Tia line because I want that bomb soul food. And it was something that we talked about for so long. So I love that. I love that people, the exposure, I think, too. And I think where people are right now, just in terms of protesting, getting out there in the streets and really trying to...
And that is a form of protest, though, too.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I was going to say, too. It's like bringing your best to whatever that environment is, right? It's like, well, look, I know people are going to be hungry down there. Let me get my warmers. Let me get my stuff together. Let me have some stuff for the people. That's what I love. And that's really what I wanted to say about the chop. I loved your sentiments there, because you're so right. Some days, maybe it was, you know, not so great, and other days it was very great. You actually said it way better than me, but you know, literally, when you said that, I just thought that's exactly what I experienced, because there were some days I was just completely inspired by it, and other days I really wanted the protesters to be educated, you know? I was like, I don't know if this is just like, now you're just happy because other people are out here, or, you know what I mean? So I just love that you said that, and thank you for uplifting that. I'm glad you were down there too, to give some insight to just, you know, artists that were down there. I talked to Kaya Ward, you know, I'm trying to get her on the show as well, but, you know, doing the whole Black Lives Matter mural, and that was such a big endeavor with so many artists.
It just became iconic too,
Wow.
It's amazing.
And everything's so rapidly too. I feel like we are all, as we're a part of these movements, we're also living in them.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
What is it like for you?
I mean, it's just a reminder to me. I mean, this is something that I've realized over the last several years, and I'm actually, of course, doing an art series about it called False Dichotomies. And it's just kind of about how everything is not as simple as black and white. We do have to understand, like in the chop, that things are evolving. And in a world where we don't even understand what's going on right now, like in politics, with this pandemic, with systemic racism, it's like there's just so many things happening, and we just have to really allow ourselves to be fluid in it, and in whatever ways that might be for me as an artist, or somebody as a business owner, or just people in general, you know. So it's been a validation of that feeling that I've kind of always had, has been like, okay, I got to understand, you know, I got to be fluid with things. I got phases, you know, everything's in phases, things are evolving. And so, yeah, it's been a very, very interesting time, and something that confirms that. And now I feel like the world is starting to maybe accept that things are, that's how things are. But that also means there's room for change, because it's fluid and it's not black and white. There is room to push against those lines that tell people that they can't be somewhere where they absolutely should be taking up space, you know, things like that. Right. So for me, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's scary because of all the things that brought it about, but it's exciting as an artist and as a person in general. So
well said, Stephanie. Absolutely. So you said false dichotomies, huh?
Yeah.
So let's get into this, because I mean, I don't know if we can get a great shot of this, Carlos, our director over there, but let me say, I mean, let me just get this one over here. This right here is pretty iconic. Is this a part of the series?
Yes, that's going to be part of the series. Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, I think it says everything. And this is a beautiful, beautiful piece. Obviously, you were inspired by what's going on right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So you said that this is a growing collection, right? So is this the first piece in the collection?
No, that's actually the second piece. The first piece I painted when Mike Brown was shot, and in Ferguson when the protests were, which was really kind of, I mean, this didn't just start with this. As we know, this has been going on for, since since forever, right? Really, you know. But yeah, so the first piece actually was made back then, and then what's been going on, it just really like inspired me to finish that thing that was. Finish it, the thing that was in your mind, and the series that was in your mind. And so, yeah, that one is kind of about how, you know, how hypocritical all the criticism of Kaepernick was, and how we've been going through we've been having the same conversation for so long that it's just like ingrained in the fabric of America at this point. You know, but something's got to change. So.
It is such I mean, you know, literally, you guys, I'm gonna be honest with them. You know, Stephanie came, I'm like, man, you know, we need to show your pieces, go get some pieces. So she's down the street, she goes home, and she comes back with these amazing pieces. I thought she was gonna bring like 2 or 3. And if you guys could see this studio right now, it's like an art show up in here. Literally, my other guests were just like, wait a minute, what's that? People are like, well, how much is that piece? I mean, you got us on fire up in here with this art. Let me just tell you that. And what you said, actually, because I know some of you may be wanting this piece. You have to wait. Yeah. What is that looking like for you? You said that this is a series, right? Yeah. So you're not selling any of them till you're done.
No, I can't, just because otherwise, like, I won't be able to have the collection together. So hopefully the series will happen in December, roughly. You know, around the end of the year. I'm really pushing myself to make it something that is completed in 2020. And then wherever we're at, you know, if we're able to gather together, hopefully by then, you know, then I'll have an art show and have you know, prints and the originals and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like it's layers. This is one layer of that bigger message that I want to be able to put together. So
yes, I mean, I had to get to that one. Oh my gosh! Before I get you out of here, I see you have several more. And so now people are going to be wondering, the other pieces, are those for sale?
They are, and they're all on my website. It's AXSM Art LLC.com. And on there you can go into the shop. You can go to the gallery and check out some of the other work that I've done. You can go into the events gallery to see pictures from other events and stuff that I've done that we can hopefully get back to in a better time. And then on the shop page is where you'll see all of the prints and originals and all that kind of stuff and merchandise. So yeah, so like this is an original. This is a print of an original that has since sold. But yeah, so the original painting is called You Are Here. And so it was just kind of, it had a dual message of like, you know, when somebody that you care about is either passed on or moved away, or even just you're not able to see them often, it's kind of the reminder that's like, you're always here. This is where you really live, which is why it's a heart with the map and everything. And it's got the little You Are Here, like, the little symbol. And then the other side of that is that no matter where you go, your true self is kind of is really rooted in where you're from and the people that you were around and the people that matter to you. So it's it's both sides. You are here, you know, so.
And you are here.
And you are here.
Good one.
Yeah. So, and you know, it's so funny. At the beginning of this year, I had said I really want to do. This was one that I wanted to turn into a mural because I started doing murals about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And so I had said to myself, I really want to do a mural with this image on it. And I swear, sometimes if I say it in my mind and don't tell anybody, it just happens, you know. And so Earl from Earl's Barbershop came to me and said, "Hey, there's a wall and we need a mural on it. Would you like to paint something?" And I was like, "Yes, I would actually." And so this is actually now a mural in the Central District, 23rd and Union, right there next to Earl's Barbershop. And it's got the Central District map, and it's called "We Are Here." And that's just, again, a reminder that for all the people that have been displaced and hopefully coming home soon, you know, it's a reminder that this is where you're from and this is where you belong. And even if you can or cannot come back to this space, you're here. So, yeah.
Oh, my word. You were not supposed to make me cry on the set. It's been one of those kind of days. You know what I'm saying? But that is beautiful. And also the messaging. I think that's one of the things, and it's one of the reasons why I told Los, I really want, one of our segments every month to focus on art and the artistry of it, because I think that there is something so powerful about what evokes, what makes you as an artist go to that canvas every day or night or whatever, you know, whenever you're painting, and come back with where you left off at, and you know where you're going. It's such a process that I so respect and appreciate. And yeah, maybe I can do it in like 90 minutes at a paint sip, but something that takes 2 years, something that is so thoughtful, it comes from just such a place of, you know, in my book, it's a divine place, you know.
Well, and that's why I want people to experience it. That's why I love doing the paint and sip. Yeah, it's only 2 hours of painting or whatever, but it's like it gets people introduced to that feeling of like making something, having a plan where you're going, but then also at the same time being okay with, you know, happy mistakes, you know, happy accidents or whatever, you know, where it's like, okay, this is different than I planned, but I'm okay with that, and something beautiful can come out of that. And I mean, that's what creativity is all about. That's why I'm like, don't worry about my friend Delisha Phillips always says, it's the process, not the product. And that's really, for me, the basis of art, and why it's really, I don't want to say it's trending or popular right now, because art is a beautiful thing, but it's like right now in all of this chaos, I think art says the things that we can't always like put into words. Yes. So yeah, I feel like that would be great if you have a, you know, not I'm a little biased because I'm an artist, but you know, I feel like it'd be great because sometimes that art can say what we want to say, but we just don't have the words for it. You know? Yeah, this is why, you know, to me, even curating a great art show it takes a lot of skill, takes a lot of work, and shout out to the team over at Mohai. They're literally creating an exhibit that really speaks to kind of this time and just speaks to social justice and the fight for it, because it really has been a fight. Stephanie, thank you again. Folks, you guys can find her. AXSM Art is AXSM, but I wanted to spell it out so you guys find her with no issues. AXSM Art LLC.com. Okay, got it. Well, I'm loving that. Thank you for sharing your website. So where else can people actually find you? Like now the social handles, I'm sure you're out there in the social ethos. Where can they find you personally? Yeah, absolutely. So from the website, or you can go directly on Instagram, I'm _AXSM. And I have my Instagram there, and I'm updating that constantly. And then also on Facebook, I'm AXSM Art LLC. And again, updating on there as well. Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Beautiful prints, beautiful person, always giving to community, and, you know, and she's right here in the CD, you know what I mean, repping hard. We so appreciate you for coming on the show today. Thank you. Yes. Thank you guys for watching Chats with Trae today. I so appreciate you guys spending a bit of your time with us. And as always, you guys know we'll be keeping this going, so you guys will be able to find us once again. Stay tuned, you guys, because we'll be having some great guests
coming up, and I'm really happy to be bringing people on and to be having them share their stories with you. So could stay with us as our audience grows. We're so excited that you guys watched today, and I hope you guys were inspired by Stephanie and her story of her amazing art. She's an amazing person, and already there's some pieces that I'm looking to buy. So you guys have been watching Chats with Trae. Make it a great one.
Thanks.